Welcome, birds and turds, to the Angry Bird Pod Show. I don't know why I looked around at my 75 monitors, but I did anyway. We are here today with the usual gamut of individuals. Matt is, like, I lost where my point. That way.
You had it. You were on a roll. You had it right.
I was.
A few episodes.
Visually, you're on my left, but you're on my right camerally. So, I don't know how.
The tick that was running up my face just before recording. But you're the other side.
You're like.
I had this mysterious black, like Cindy Crawford kind of something right here.
It looked good.
I was grabbing this side of my face. He's like, other side, dude. So, anyway, I'd struggle with it as well, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know how the YouTubers do it. They're like, it's in the fucking corner or whatever.
That's
like, I don't know.
skill. That's experience and skill.
I don't have either of those things. That's why I'm not very good at it.
We almost have a year.
I saw that the other day. I think it's September
20-something.
Was it 20? I thought it was earlier in the month, but it could be late too. I don't remember. But yeah, September will be 1 year. Mm-hmm. Should we plan something for that? Should we do something?
Yeah, we'll keep it quiet though. We won't tell anybody here.
No, this is
just so if we don't plan anything, then no one's worried about it.
So all 6 listeners don't hold us to nothing. I was going to say, this episode, we're just going to talk about what we should be doing, and that's going to be an episode, right? We're just going to...
They're like, what's changed?
Nothing.
Obvious.
Just yammering on.
Oh, you're going to continue to do what you usually do. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why we showed up.
We're not changing at all. I was actually talking to my friend Jamie about that. Avid listener of the show, so I can shout her out. Hi, Jamie. How's my R7? Jamie. I hope you're treating it well. But yeah, she was saying, I was talking to about because we go on, like, especially last episode, we went on like tangents about like car mechanicking and fucking other things. And she thought it was good because like we don't necessarily advertise. I guess we do advertise as a bird podcast, but we say like there's going to be tangents. We're going to veer off course.
Yeah, that's a main staple of the show.
Arguably, yeah, it's a piece of the show.
Yeah, because if you're here for like the professionalism, like, wrong.
Sorry.
But if you're here for two guys shitting around.
Two guys shitting around.
That's us. I'll drink to that.
Oh yeah, we should drink to that. Hey, what an excellent segue that we're not rehearsed at all. Oh, I'm drinking Wisted. I just covered the label up, but.
Wisted?
No, I covered label. Should I pour?
I thought you were getting some Timu twisted tea. Twisted tea, you know?
I don't ever know if I should pour into the mic or
I always do. This time, for any listeners, that filled that cup. That's a big cup too.
You did what in this cup?
I have a towel down on this side so you don't hear nearly as much.
I thought it's because you liken the podcast so much you just make messes.
No. It's because Kyle was like, do you mind putting something down so you don't hear this?
Sorry about last episode. We just heard a cord moving around for 6 months.
I don't know what that was. I mean, Kyle will as the audio
I feel
engineer,
like
but
it was this on the edge of the table. That's yours.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's what it sounded like to me.
Well, it was near the base. Now I'm using the arm again, so I got it away from it. So we'll see.
I think it sounds good.
You know what sounds really loud?
You banging into your mic? Like, that thing shoots faster than that, and I know that it does.
It does, but...
Put that into speed mode, man.
I don't shoot it louder than that. This is the Elusive... Where is it?
Elusive? Oh.
Yeah.
Come on,
anyway, Elusive 7D that I was speaking of that I got from Sir Gary.
Yeah.
He was knighted. And,
that's good.
I don't turn this off. I don't know why I'm looking for the switch. I don't know.
Yeah, don't bother.
The batteries last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And Gary, I think, had it in his bag for like 2 years, not even using it. I don't even know if he charged it.
Mm-hmm.
He may have, and it's still full bars.
Yeah. They just go. That is definitely one thing about DSLRs that I miss.
It's the chunk. It's the feel. You know what's interesting? We'll get right into it.
Just jump in.
It's such a different experience because as the light changes, as you're kind of more in tune with it. We've talked about this a little bit, but you're making every small adjustment. The auto ISO doesn't work.
I used it for a long time.
Okay, but now, like in today's standards, like you really got to control the ISO. Like ISO 16 on here is like, okay, now you're kind of capping out when it comes.
You don't
to
mean
noise.
1600. You mean 16.
16. Yeah, literally 16. No, 1600.
Yeah.
And I personally like to be in control, and it's nice to feel like you're in complete control again.
Yeah.
Where that little box goes, the way you compose, because you have to set it up right in the frame. You got to wait for that bird to turn into the frame rather than looking at the edge of the frame. There's just so many other aspects to it that you take for granted of these new ones. And I will say that R8 is outstanding for autofocus, and that's one thing I've kind of experienced shooting the 70, sorry, not R7, 70, and this most recent one here that I'm borrowing from Voldemort himself.
You're literally just jumping fully send right in.
The Lumix.
What is it again? Because I don't know. Say the whole thing.
It's the Panasonic Lumix S5 II. And then the Sigma 500 5.6 Prime.
Which is on the Air Mount Alliance, right?
Which is going to go bankrupt. Because nobody shoots it.
Yeah.
Mike doesn't even shoot it, to be honest. He's already looking for something else. I've been battering this. Not battering. I mean, it's in between the 70...
Okay, hold on.
Somewhere.
Pause for a second. Pause for a second.
Sure, I jumped right in.
Historically, on this podcast and in life in general, I've been the one wanting to talk about comparing and contrasting different things. Recently, it's been headphones, before, like still camera stuff. But now, Buddy's over here armed to the teeth with 3 full wildlife kits that he's just carting around, shooting stuff and showing me pictures.
Well, to be fair, the Lumix Sigma 500 Prime is on loan. The 150-600 is also on loan. And the 70 I did buy literally for $100 just to add.
Sick.
To use it as maybe potentially the camera for this, so I can kind of free up the R8. I don't know. For $100, you can't go wrong. Like it was kind of something nostalgic to grab. But yeah, you're right. The turns have tabled, as they say.
The turns have tabled.
However, once everything's kind of gone and I'm back to the R8 800, I'm going to go back to that mindset. It's just it's a mindset that's just for now,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not indefinite by any means.
Are you having fun? Looking at all of them and differences and things?
Yeah, I think I'm having fun. I'm also recognizing that a lot of the ideology that I think I had about this and what you're able to shoot with if you're a social media photographer and what you can get away with.
Okay.
Because if you do have something superior and you compare it to something inferior and then you put it on socials when it gets compressed and everything, nobody can tell the difference. I've kind of polled the group and people were all over the place. But if it was in front of you on a high res screen, then you'll see the difference. So if you're into printing or selling prints, anything like that, I can see where it becomes useful. As a pro, I think it becomes useful just in general. You're making money off it. You want something that's superior. As a content creator or a social media photographer, that's where I draw the line. It doesn't really matter what you use as long as you can use it well. You're gonna get good results just because a lot of those imperfections are kind of masqueraded on the compression and smaller images, sizes, and stuff like that. So
yeah, for sure.
It's been an interesting little journey recently, but yeah, I think I'm satisfied with each camera on its own level, and I think I could use either of them to continue what I do with my images, which is just randomly share them and talk about them on the podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Lumix, so you're shooting one full frame and 2 APS-C sensors, right? The Lumix is...
Lumix is full.
Oh.
It's a 24.5 megapixel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a legit 500 then. Like you're
500,
not
5.6 depth of field. Yep.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking that Oh, I just don't know Panasonic's lineup, and I thought that one was crop sensor, but that's cool.
Yeah, I think the G9, the G9 II, stuff like that. I think that is crop. That's where
What's
you get
the
that
new
2 times
one
crop.
that just came out?
Well, there's the new one is the S5 no S5R S1R2 S1R2.
And that one is the S. Whatever you're shooting.
40. That's a 45. This is the S5 II.
Oh, so they do the Sony thing. So the R is the resolution. So you're getting. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I feel like someone who doesn't know anything when I'm talking about Sony model names, because I'm like, yeah, the A7R3 and the A9
Right.
and the A12,
Right.
and you're like the S1R56874, and I'm like, I don't know.
It's. I think a lot of people are with you on that one when it comes to Panasonic.
None of these are named great.
Yeah.
At least, well, I was gonna say at least I can understand Canon a little bit, but they kind of
it goes with most of the other camera when it comes to Panasonic. They didn't do a ton of great things.
How do you really
It's fine.
feel, Matt?
No, it's fine. The only gripe on it is the autofocus. I find it struggles quite a bit. I don't even try action. I should be shooting action with this 500 5.6. Like, it'd be a great lens for that.
Are you talking like the tracking, or are you talking?
Yes.
Okay.
And no, not so much tracking. Once it's on, it's not so bad as long as you use the specific limiting switch. So it's like 3 to 10 meters full, or 10 and to infinity.
Yeah.
If you're within 3 to 10, you better have it on that. You don't want it on full because it doesn't even rack. It's like, I don't know what to do. I see some contrast. I see the bird. I can see the bird like preening, and it's just like bokeh, and it doesn't move. It won't even like go in and out. And then I'll have to focus on like a leaf kind of beside it or near it. And if I hold the button for a long time, it'll eventually find it. Then I go over to the bird. The subject acquisition is poor, in my opinion. I'm not sure Mike feels the same way. He knows the camera a little bit better than me, but with my short stint with it, it's a stark difference. It's a stark, not deal breaker, but I think it's really leaving a lot for the lens to be desired when it comes to shooting it on this body specifically. Maybe the S1R2 is much better, but something like this on an R8 would be outstanding.
Canon, open up that mount.
Outstanding. Open it. Outstanding.
Yeah.
I actually think it would be just as good. I think it would be better on Sony, but you got to spend so much money to shoot it on an A9 III or shoot it on an A1.
And be limited to no frames per second.
Those ones that's an issue because they are limited to 15. Whereas if you shoot it on something that does 12 frames a second,
you're good.
Like you're never going to get to that. But the problem is the buffering is so terrible on a lot of those cameras. You're sacrificing something else too.
There's always something.
There's rolling shutter. Like one of them has like a 99 millisecond rolling shutter. Like readout.
I don't know if it's the A7 III, the A7 IV, the R's for sure. But I think even the regular A7 V and the A7 IV and the A7 III, I think their readout speed is very low as well.
It's very slow. Whereas like 14 milliseconds for the R8, I think 33 or 35 for the R7, R10, right around there. No, 50.
I don't remember.
Maybe it's 40 or 50. But anyway, you're getting up there. Like my point is, unless you're going to spend, I don't see anybody shooting this 500 third-party lens on an A1 or A1 II or an A9 III as their main camera body.
I knew someone who did
lens.
that. You knew someone who did that.
Who did? Well,
Mr. Sean.
Yeah.
He just did. So I just knew that he did.
But he doesn't anymore.
No. He's bought and sold a bunch of different lenses. I'm not sure what he's shooting.
Him and Mike are not so dissimilar in that aspect. It's always been kind of let's see what gear can get me. You know what I mean? And it only gets you so far, and there's always going to be something that you're going to have to trade for.
When is Mike going to get an R8?
R8? No. I honestly, the thing is, if he wants to go to Sony and he doesn't want to sell the lens and get the
Sony
E-mount, he has to get the mount changed, and it's like $600.
Blech. Well,
but it's a $5,000 lens,
right? What could you buy? You can't. There's nothing for $600.
Well, there's a beautiful 800, and he could come to the R8 club.
It's true.
And
I prefer the other one.
A lot of people that I polled suggested that the R8 was the nicest looking image.
There. You don't need to see me anymore.
UF9 guys are fragile. You're right in the middle of 6'3" and 11. You're fragile, you guys.
Fragile?
Yeah.
Yeah, the front falls off.
No, not that fragile. Emotionally fragile.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I'll take that.
You're emotionally awkward in the middle, and you have to defend yourself, whether it's an 11 attacking you or a 6'3" from below.
Yeah.
You have a little buzz going on.
Do I have a buzz again? Oh, it's probably because I touched everything.
Anyway, sorry for the buzz.
Wiggle. Gone.
Right there. Don't move.
Literally, this has been plaguing me for 2 weeks now. And I just have to wiggle my microphone interface for some reason, and it stops.
That's our audio engineer right there.
Yep.
That's all I
just
ask
wiggle
for.
it.
I just look for results. I don't care how you get there.
At work, in the one, it's back.
Oh.
And I didn't even move.
There it is.
Yeah, I just wiggled it again. At work, in the one boardroom, the speakers would stop working, and this literally the fix was to hit a specific spot in the ceiling with a broom, and it would fix it because it was a little like short there, and it would just like kind of jiggle everything, and it made it work.
Give it the New York apartment treatment.
Yeah, exactly. The sitcom from the 90s, just dunk, dunk, shut up. And
Friends was notorious for that, was it not?
Yeah. Or did Seinfeld do that? I didn't watch too much Seinfeld, but they might have.
I know a little bit, but
yeah,
I know just enough to make Seinfeld fans disappointed in me.
I know less than that, and they're just disappointed anyway.
Well, because they're like, really, you don't remember that episode? I'm like, well, I don't really specifically know that much.
Yeah,
but
I've seen every Friends episode about 6 times.
Yeah, my wife was a huge Friends addict, so
yeah.
We have like Friends like Jeopardy and all these board games.
Oh, sick! I mean, so when I come over, we're playing that.
She kills me. She knows
dude.
all of the one with, and she knows all the titles.
Oh wow! I don't know if I'd probably remember the episode, but not the name of the episode.
Yeah, she's a nerd.
That's sick.
Meanwhile, we're talking about birds.
Yeah, nerd liking a TV show. Hey, birds are sick.
see that one bird? Sweet.
I love fucking birds.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Yeah, so I'm a little bit jealous of you having all these things to play with, but
the plethora of lenses and body choices.
Yeah. But what's funny is you can't really cross-pollinate with any of that stuff. The Lumix won't fit on the other two. You can't use the 811 on the R7, or sorry, on the 7D. You can use the 150-6 on the R8.
Yeah. And I just spoke to Keith, and I'm like, when do you want this thing back? And he's like, I don't have any time to shoot, man. Enjoy it. I'm like, whatever.
Oh, okay.
I'll keep shooting it. Because it's nice to have that, the 7D now to mess around with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, able to compare shots between the three, stuff like that. So
does he still have your 104?
We will be doing in a bit. We're gonna take a look at some photos.
Surprise. So you better be
if you're not
fucking
on
watching.
Video, if you're not on video, we will prompt you to jump on.
And jump on video. No, I'm just kidding. Not yet.
You should just go back and restart.
The whole episode?
Well, or at least from where the timestamp is now. Like when I'm listening to like Kill Tony or something.
Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you meant me.
No, like, stop the recording.
Just stop it. It's fine.
When I'm listening to Kill Tony, I'm listening to Theo. I'm listening to just anything that like I want to now view. Mm-hmm. I will pause. I'll look at where I'm at, and then I'll jump in on YouTube. So you guys can do that too. There's a little tip for you guys. I'd prefer you do it at the start, but I know not everyone has time to just sit down and watch an hour and a half podcast.
Yeah. Actually, I find I do that more often than I thought. Like I don't watch it, but I might have it on like my phone, and then it'll be playing, and I'll just glance over at it occasionally for some podcasts.
Yep. So you're using the audio, but when something's going on, you kind of just tune in for a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, guys, take the hint.
Get over to YouTube. YouTube.com/Angry Bird Pod, probably. I don't remember.
Kyle's gorgeous face over here.
Ew. Gross. Disagree.
Right.
Hard
listen,
disagree.
Attraction is subjective.
That's true. So is most camera and art opinions.
Of course, that's why we're allowed to share ours, because it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong.
Exactly.
We have a damn podcast, and you have to listen.
Yeah,
You choose.
you have to listen. We're trapping you here. You cannot hit that stop button.
Wonder how many people do.
Hit the stop button?
Yeah, I don't get
I don't get those analytics.
No. On YouTube, you do. You get the view, how much you're getting viewed.
I haven't looked at those. I should.
That's not good.
Maybe I shouldn't look at them then.
That's why I'm kind of pandering for some views on the YouTube. But the podcast is going great. The audio, sorry.
I was thinking, well, we've talked about this for probably 7.5 weeks so far, but I keep trying to think of like video ideas that we could do to throw up there. And I was at Colonel Sam Smith Park in Toronto, I think 2 weeks ago, like after we recorded the last pod. I went a couple days after.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, or did we talk? Anyway, I was thinking next time I do that, I should just vlog and talk about like,
yeah,
I went to this spot and then I thought this, so I went there, and like someone might find it interesting.
I always think that, and then I'm like, that's too much work. Like I want to focus on shooting.
Yeah.
And then I go get the exact same shots that I've already have.
Yep.
And then I come home and I'm like, well, I probably should have just added that vlog to it and then actually made it something rather than just have the same shots in my goddamn library as I already have. But that's the enjoyment for me, at least. I don't care if I go get the same shots. I'm recreating experience that I enjoy, like with loons.
Yeah.
You know, it's just fun to be out there.
That was
If
like
you don't
me.
like my photos, it's fine.
When I sat there, I just shot common turns for most of the day. And I was like, I'm fine with this. Like, I fucking love turns.
Do it for you.
Yeah. It's for me.
Someone likes
Fuck all y'all.
It's funny though when you go through your library, you go, okay, May last year. Oh, same shots as May this year.
Yeah. I went to the same park at the same time.
But having limited gear, getting back to the gear, having gear that's specifically good at one thing, say portraits, still shots, stuff like that, that's what you're going to get. All you're doing is trying to get a little bit, maybe more of an upgrade on a pose or an interaction or a lighting condition. That's what I'm trying to do.
You know how we, as bird and animal photographers, will be like, I got a rose-breasted grosbeak today, or like a whatever bird. Do you think portrait photos are like, yo, I shot a guy today with a navel ring? Like, do you think they have like markings that they look for? They're like, oh, I got to get a guy with a face tattoo next.
I'm going to be honest, a few of them. But more than likely, they're like Dexter. They're little.
Oh, maybe.
There's a little extra to it. Yeah, there's a little extra to it.
My
sure
buddy
they exist though.
My buddy Brandon sent me I think he sent it to me. It was a spoof of a bird photographer. It was it's something about a beard photographer. So like I was going around looking for different types of beards. And he was like hiding behind garbage cans and trees and like downtown, like shooting across a park with the same kind of gear. Just being like, yo, it's a chin strap.
I find that funny, but I also find like it could work.
Yeah, you definitely
because
could.
It's so niche and nobody's doing it. Like you could definitely make that work.
It's like creepy street photography or something like that.
Yeah.
Creep photography.
I like it.
Yeah. It could be fun.
I'm game to try different things. Oh,
sure.
I'll do it. I was thinking about going downtown, like towards the evenings and into dusk, and trying to shoot like downtown birds with like city ambient light.
This is what I call a house sparrow on a bike rack in front of the 7-Eleven.
A pigeon.
Sure.
Stuff like that.
Well,
you'll definitely get house sparrows. You'll get pigeons. You'll get.
Well, we got Rain getting the Popeyes pigeon, so
yeah,
you can get something. Yeah,
like I'm not going wide though. Like, the only reason I was thinking about it because it'd be cool to go down there with the 500 5.6 for
the nighttime stuff.
You got all that bokeh. Yeah, you got a little bit better aperture than I'm used to, and the 24 megapixel. That's one thing nice about the body is it has nice image quality with that lens. It's just the performance of it finding birds and being successful is poor.
How?
As we jump around everywhere.
Of course. How much of a tinkerer are you? So have you gone into the settings
yes.
to like change AF speed and stickiness and all that. So it has all that adjustment and stuff in it.
Yeah. I've listened to, I watched a few videos of people setting it up specifically for wildlife. Kind of looked at what they were doing, understanding what each setting does. And there's quite a few of them. It's just like I find like Canon, there's less.
There's less
And
settings.
And in this setting, less is more because it just does it better for you. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that Lumix has all those settings because it doesn't do it well, because I think all those settings are actually kind of important, and I kind of wish that I could tinker a little bit more with the Canon R8 and mess around just even a little bit more flexibility. Not that I'm looking for flexibility, but it's just nice. It's like one of those things. It's better to have and not use than to need it and not have it type of thing. And I do appreciate that the Lumix has that professional feel and that quality to it.
Yep.
It just doesn't really perform that way when it comes to wildlife.
I was talking to my buddy Will recently. He comes up almost as often as Mike, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
But he was talking about how he hated the Sony menu. And I really don't like that argument. Not because I think that it's wrong. I just think that the menu system shouldn't necessarily have that much to do with it, because they all have a version of my menu, or like a menu you can add to the end.
Yeah.
That you're like, I want these settings. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, I just couldn't find anything. And I was like, well, what do you need to change? And if you need it, just put it at the end. And when I had my Sonys, I never once thought this menu sucks. I just heard it from everyone else. I was just, this menu's different than what I'm used to. And then I got used to it and it was fine.
I think it's hard to find things to shit on when it comes to the Sony cameras, so it's easy to pick on the menus.
That's fair. It just seems strange coming from you being such a Sony
I don't think
opposite
Sony,
of an addict or shill.
the only reason I don't like Sony is because you have to spend so much to get the same kind of performance that you're going to get out of the cheaper Canon stuff, or more of the. Now Nikon has that $3,600 our Z6 III available. Yep. The R8's a little bit more expensive, or the Z8, but they still have these options where they didn't before. And Sony's, to get an A9 III or an A1 or an A1 II, you're talking about a $9,000 camera, a $7,500 camera.
Yeah.
Which you're getting a pro camera, but I can get something that has been stripped of some features, but will still perform just as well in most situations.
That is why I bought them all used. So there's that.
I'm not saying they're bad. I look at it from an objective point of view. I'm not interested because that's not my price point.
That's fair. Totally fair.
So it's easy for me just to go, fuck them. I'm not interested. I don't want to hear about it. All of those cameras that are even more expensive than the R6 III or R6 II and the Z8 all have far less of a feature set when it comes to wildlife. If it was portrait or landscape, I'd probably be shooting Sony. They're probably one of the best cameras for that.
Yeah, the R series is pretty sick.
Yeah. Now, is the A9 III and the A1 II and all that great wildlife cameras? Of course, but I'm not spending as much as a car on something like that. I'm not saying it's not, I'm not, don't yell at me in the screen if you're watching and saying like, what is this guy talking about? This is just a price point. This is basic price point.
Yeah.
You can buy great anything from any brand. It's just how much are you willing to spend, or how much do you need to spend to get those new age technology that assists you in becoming more of a successful wildlife photographer. I think Canon does it the best. They're missing a mid-range lens lineup. They don't really have it. No, they have one lens. Great, they have one lens.
Yeah, they do.
But I'll agree with people that say that, but I'm not really interested in it because I think they have a lot of budget stuff that is, again, if you're a social media photographer, you're going to be right up there with everyone else in quality and what you can get. You can hang with the big guys.
Yeah, it's true.
You know.
I think
they're capable.
Well, after having gone through a couple of cameras, and the reason I went used kind of in the first place was to maximize what I did have to spend.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a good way of kind of doing that, and it is a good way of doing that.
It's my go-to.
I think that kind of where I started when it was sort of the world was still kind of between the DSLR and mirrorless, and I guess we're still kind of there. So like Sony just had more options at the time for mirrorless, which is what I wanted to try.
Yeah.
So that's why I went there first, and I was on Canon, so it was really the only logical jump. I don't regret it. I think you're kind of right. I think if I was shooting stills, the A7R series would be
up there. It'd be a big choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
The A7R3 still for non-moving things would be excellent. I don't think you need to go higher than 45 megapixels generally. There's rumors now that the A7 V, so not the R, will be 45 megapixels when it comes out. And I'm like, I don't think for most people you need to go higher than that.
Weren't they talking about a couple years ago an 81 megapixel sensor?
The R5 right now is 61.
Yeah.
So it maybe
I think they were thinking about pushing it that high.
Probably. Well, but
that's a studio camera or a landscape camera, if you ask me.
Yeah. Like landscape.
That's cool.
I could see, because like I can understand someone blowing up a big picture of like the Grand Canyon or some mountain, or I don't take the sky, stars,
and you want resolution in every part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not. I don't think. I'm not a landscape photographer, but you're generally not like having, I would say, too many out of focus elements. Like you might have foreground, background type stuff, but you're not as much, I don't think, highlighting a flower with a mountain in the background. I don't think you want like
you're either focus stacking or you're doing something.
Yeah. So you don't need that. You do need that resolution to get everything kind of in focus, and then you can be able to look at all of the stuff in it. Because I think with a landscape, you're going like, oh, check out this rock, and you kind of follow it down to the grass and then up to the tree, and then the tree comes over
into the photo.
Yeah. And people talk about that with bird photography and stuff, but I still find it difficult.
It's still present. The thing is, you have a subject that's moving along a scene that's ever changing.
Yep.
So like you can have an idea, and you can almost have that idea, and you can see that idea, and you can see it in bokeh, and you can push the Lumix autofocus button, and then nothing happens.
And then nothing happens.
You can see it, you can feel it, you can vision it, but that's where your dreams go to die.
It is Lumix, where your dreams go to die.
It's a very nice feeling camera. It's of quality.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna shit on it, but anyway.
Do it.
It falls under the Sony. It falls on the Sony category, as Sony has issues with higher megapixel sensors, less noise reduction or less noise performance, and shitty readout speeds. Whereas this has almost everything the R8. It's very comparable to the R8. The price is they came out in January 2023. The R8 came out in March 2023. They're about the same price point. It has. I'm not so sure. Both megapixels are 24 sensors. I think it might have a little bit better video features, but that's because Lumix is usually more video centric.
Yep.
They're definitely more hybrid cameras. But I don't think I saw that it had 4K 60. It only had 30 and 24, and then it had 120 1080p.
It's interesting that you just said the video thing, because the other day I was watching, I mentioned it before, Good Mythical Morning, great show, and
I watch it now.
Do you regularly?
And they were just recently on Tiger Belly with Bobby Lee, the two of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Rhett and
Link. They did an episode of Bert Kreischer's cooking show too. He was on. Yep. Bert Kreischer was on their show too. I don't know if you watched that one. They asked
what their favorite podcast was on Tiger Belly, and they were like, "Oh, we just did Bert Kreischer, and he cooked for us. It was the best podcast we ever did, or we ever had." Yeah.
Yeah, but he was also on their show, which was pretty sick. I don't know if you've seen that episode.
No, not yet.
It's pretty funny. But
they're 5 days a week.
Yep. They're during their
Great.
summer break now, so they're only 3
Sure.
days a week right now. But yeah.
Anyway,
But they
tangent
did
number
like
6.
pardon?
Tangent number 6.
Tangent number 6. This is getting to cameras though, so it's sort of a tangent. They recently did like a throwback episode because they're doing their summer thing right now, and I was watching it, and it was from 2021, I think, the episode they were showing, and it looked different, and I was like, I wonder if they went from shooting something to shooting Canon, because the recenter seasons looked. The only way I can describe it, which is a really bad way of describing it, is more Canon-y. The colors looked more Canon-y. And the throwback
Maybe they just
episode.
changed the lighting.
Well, here's what I was saying.
Maybe they're just strobes and shit, you know?
They might have. They have definitely played with lighting a ton over the years. Like, I noticed that as well. But even the look of the image was different. And I couldn't really tell what it was. So I looked it up. And they used to post what gear they use, but they haven't been recently. But somewhere around 22, they switched cameras. But before that, they were using Lumix. So the image that I thought looked different was from a Lumix video camera.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It did say the model. I don't remember what it was because like we've established, I don't know.
Yeah. I've noticed in comparison that the Lumix color science is different, much different than Canon.
Would you say it's cooler?
Like,
no, not like, yo, is it cooler? Is it like blue and green and kind of
yes, the greens
gray?
are different. The greens are different.
Okay. I find
it's not as warm.
Yeah. Canon is warm to me. Canon is warm, inviting.
Warm and inviting.
Yeah.
Warm and inviting and a great club and yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Come on in. Water's great. Some Kool-Aid over on the Actually, no. There's some Twisted Tea back there for you.
Yeah, we don't fuck around with Kool-Aid. We're Twisted Tea. Get it twisted.
Get it twisted. But yeah, and then like Nikon, I can't really call it something. Like I don't think I would say cool or warm, but it looks brown? Nikon. It definitely looks Nikon. But I don't know what. And then Sony to me is cool and like blocky. It's got this like digital sharpness
or something you're saying, right?
Is a what?
The anti-alias filters.
Some of them don't have it. So the R series I don't think does. I don't know about the other ones. The A9 did. The first one had it. I don't know if they took it off for the second ones, but I think every Canon camera they stick it on. Apart from, I believe that they had a 5DS R or 5DR.
5DR. That was the one that was like 45 megapixel.
And it was for like astro photography and shit. I think they said
product.
Yeah,
stuff like that. Some
that
people
one
use it for weddings, but
yeah, I think that one did not have an anti-aliasing filter, but I think they specifically say when they don't. Rather than being like,
this line when they do. Yeah. Sony's the only camera brand I haven't shot yet.
You have so much to say about them. Nikon's the only one. Well, I haven't shot Lumix either, I guess. But
I think that's probably why. Like, you know me, when I try something, then I'm like, I have this like epiphany where I'm like, okay, Kyle, you know the shit that I was like, why does it matter? I'm like, I'm gonna tell you what you told me 6 months ago, and then you're gonna say, that's what I've been telling you.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not saying you're right.
No.
Because
don't ever do that.
You know, a couple people listening, but I won't say you're wrong either. I'll say that some people need to experience things for themselves for them to really understand and grasp the concept.
Yes.
I'm not saying me, but I'm saying there are people out there that do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm that way in a very specific way with music. Jen will be like, check the song out. And when she shows it to me, I'm like, I don't like it for these 95 reasons. And then because it will come up later in like a random shuffle or some other, I'll hear it out and about. I'll kind of be like, yeah, this thing fucking slaps. And then I'll like add it to my playlist, and then I'll be listening to it one day, and she'll be like, hey, it's that one song that I showed you. I'm like, no, I found this somewhere else. And then she'll like
the credit.
Yeah, but now I've realized, and so we call it like she's planting a seed. It's like later, like Kyle will come back to this.
Well, they do say, like, specifically for music, tangent number 7 that we're on, you have to listen to a song about 8 or 10 times for you to really know if you like it.
Oh, okay.
There's obviously the outliers that are like right off the bat. You're like, what the fuck is this? This is
anything country. Shit.
Even if you listen to it 8 or 10 times,
not worth it.
What about 90s country?
The
new shit sucks.
I don't like country just as a.
But not even like Alan Jackson, Randy, Travis.
So
Travis.
There's a difference between a song being very catchy and being a good song that I like.
I just like songs that are catchy.
Right.
I guess I'm very superficial about why I like it.
That's fair. I know songs by Randy Travis and Alan Jackson, but I ain't
and ever.
I ain't blasting way down yonder in the Chattahoochee while I'm ripping down the road.
Well, I'm gonna love you forever.
No, never.
Forever
but
and ever. Amen.
We're gonna get copyright struck.
Is it no? But if I sing it, it doesn't matter.
No, it still happens.
Oh, well, that's fine. We ain't fucking making money off this anyway.
That's true. It won't make a difference.
We're not getting monetized.
Did you
hear my 2 jokes last episode? We ain't getting monetized.
I think one of the jokes was no. I didn't call. What did I call the last one? It wasn't. I fucked a pigeon. Was it? Did I
no,
go?
That was the first one.
Yeah, but I don't remember what I called the episode.
No.
I could check, but I don't want to.
Doesn't matter.
No.
They're screaming at us. All the people are like, it was called because they're just dead.
All 8. We have as many listeners as we have ours.
Yeah. You keep inflating the number.
Yeah. Well, I got to fluctuate a little bit.
That's right.
My musical taste is very bad, so I don't think I would use me as a yardstick for what is good and what is good music. Isn't and is good music. I like.
Oh, way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
Like that song is catchy.
Great.
For sure.
Okay, all right, good.
But I'm not listening to it. It doesn't do anything for me emotionally. I need to be moved by a song.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to convince you because I'm not a country fan. I just like some 90s country.
Fair. That's fine.
So I'm not here to change your opinion.
No, I'm shitting on everybody who likes country. Fuck all y'all.
That's probably there's a lot of people like country.
I know. And where I live, more.
Oh yeah. They're putting it on and serenading their sisters.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
They're blasting it on their fucking side-by-sides running down my street.
I'm so glad you said something different after you said blasted. All right.
They're blasting.
Woo! Woo! This is the X-rated. After
ABPS After Dark.
After Midnight edition.
ASMR ABP. We joked about doing that, I think, a few times.
Would you guys be disappointed if we decided
we just both started talking like this?
Well, just like an ASMR episode where we just open
SMBPSR.
we open up compartments on the camera and.
Oh, we could open up the battery door. Like,
there's videos like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like Canon.
Yeah.
Click. Nikon. Click. Sony. Just weird.
The click for the Nikon's always a trash can or something.
Yeah. Need trash can lid closing or something. Yeah.
Classic. Anytime I see one of those, I send it to Craig. I'm like, get out of here with your D500, idiot.
Yeah. Is he getting the Z5 II? Z6?
He's too busy canoeing every fucking weekend.
Yeah, you know what? He should just stick to the D500. He does well.
Yeah.
Pretty much fine with it. And he's got the 6600 and it works great.
Great setup. Heavy, but great.
Yeah.
So earlier we teased some visual aids. I think it might be time to jump into some visualness.
So if you are not on the video platform, YouTube, Angry Bird Pod Show, jump on right now and you can follow along. Otherwise, you can keep listening to the audio and go, "What the fuck are these guys
What
talking
the
about?"
actual fuck? I was going to say a timestamp, but then I realized I might edit this a little bit, so I don't know if it'll actually be this far into the episode. It might be a little bit less.
Yep. You'll find it.
But how'd you want to do it? Just show bird in a row
So
and talk
what I
about
did
them?
is I took these 3 kits plus the one I'm on here, the R8.
Yep.
And I went out, take photos, and I had an opportunity where I found an upland sandpiper on a post inside my car. So I was able to shoot.
The Piper was in your car?
I was inside my car. I was using it as a mobile blind.
Yep.
I was able to actually shoot all 3 kits. It goes the 7D with the 150-600, the Lumix with the 500 5.6, and then the R8 with the 800 f11. And I was able to shoot them from the exact same position in the exact same conditions. As you can see, it was overcast with the exact same backgrounds, exact same distance to subject, although that will change with each lens. Okay. So that's the scenario.
Yep. Ignore.
Will you be able to see this as well? This is 1080, right? When we upload? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you might be able to see the difference. Is there any way on the fly, not right now, but is there any way we can make these 3 images available somewhere if somebody wanted to look at them?
I suppose we could fart them into the YouTube description or throw a link in the podcast description.
So we'll probably do that. If you want to take a look at them, I don't know whether you care or not. This is
Do you have
content.
a Flickr? Or can you post them to Flickr and then send me the link? Okay, cool.
Yes, and these will be just the raws. I do have some edited. Maybe I'll put the edited versions, but I don't think it really matters. You kind of want to see the raws. Actually, that's not true. 2 of them are raws. The other one on the 7D is a JPEG because the guy bought it from is a rookie and doesn't shoot raw.
I love that.
I love you, Gary. I'm just kidding. But I was on JPEG.
I love that the camera that has I'll go with least chance of topping this chart. You shot in JPEG to give it even less of a chance. Or
I would
more.
argue I gave it more of a chance because the
Canon.
JPEG's already going to add some noise reduction to it, which is going to help that ISO.
Yeah.
And a little bit of sharpening, output sharpening.
True. All right.
So it might help it a little bit.
So this is image number 1.
Yeah.
Want to know something interesting? I've never seen it on upland sandpiper.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I have
interesting
in
birds.
pictures, but not
They're interesting
live.
birds.
Yeah.
They're about 10 to 12 inches tall, 11 inches tall. So they're larger.
Like greater yellow legs type size.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're a little. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yep. They may
That's
have
what
they
they
have
look
a wild call.
Yeah, I've heard
I
that.
won't even-
I've actually not.
I won't
I've heard
even
people say
try.
that it's wild.
It's like whoop, wee, or something. You know what I mean? You just hear this like long howl at the end. That was terrible. I'm sorry for the bird fan.
We're gonna get copyright struck for that. And the upland sandpipers will come after us.
They don't have lawyers.
Okay, good.
So are we gonna say which is which, or we're just gonna go through them first?
Let's go through them first. With our ugly
So this is
faces in the way.
This is image 1. Obviously, it's on a post. The background is a field's length away. So if you know any kind of farmer's field, that could be anywhere from 500 meters to 5,000 meters. Not quite sure. I would say probably half a kilometer.
You know what I don't mind about this picture?
500 meters.
I kind of like the
barbed wire?
gradient of the background. Just like the light to dark to light again.
I had to actually scoot up in my seat and kind of brace myself and shoot down because it was a little higher than me and I was getting mainly back of the sky, the kind of gray sky.
The old high key.
So it does shift a little bit.
Yeah.
So because I said it's the exact same spot, you'll see the background shift a little bit. That's because I was trying to position myself to kind of have the same background angle.
We can do this if we want to do it too.
Yeah.
Wow, look at him.
He's sharp. It's clean.
Looks like a bird on a post.
Yeah. Okay. That's image 1.
Oh.
This is image 2. Now, I would argue, go back to image 1 and back to image 2. Automatically, right off the bat, I can see a difference in the color science, but I can also see a difference in contrast.
This one's lighter. I don't know if that is part of what you're talking about.
There just seems to be less contrast in the background, less contrast in the post. There's more highlights, you know what I mean?
The barbed wire's gone.
That may be settings in general, but we're just gonna keep it raw here.
Keeping it raw.
A little bit different pose. It's a little tighter. That might give away a little bit.
He's shrugging. You asked him a tough question.
He is shrugging. That's typically how they sit. The first one was because I had that camera ready, and he was a little more alert when I pulled up. Now he's kind of into still got that one leg up, tucked away, so he's still content.
Classic stance.
Zoom in. It's still reasonable. There's a little bit. I don't know if that's depth of field because his head's turned a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's a bit of movement on himself because everything else looks fairly sharp. Even the leg looks like it has some detail to it.
Well, I was gonna say, I think it's probably a little movement because like his leg is sharp. I think so. And I imagine distance from you, leg, and head would be about the same.
Because we're very close. I would argue the distance is probably 20 feet.
Okay. I do know what these are because I had to put them in the Lightroom to figure it out. But the first thing I did when he sent me these this morning, or you sent me these, I don't know who I'm talking to. Am I talking to the audience or you?
Everybody. Pretend
what I do,
audience, baby.
This is me every time I see a picture. I go like this, and I go, and I go I'll go even way inner than this, but for ease of everything. And the first thing I noticed between these two is the head was just out of focus.
Yep. Rookie mistake.
Idiot. You got to ask you didn't pay the sandpiper to sit still. You blew it. But I know that Matt loves a good nostril shot, and you can see right through here. So I think that qualifies.
Sure.
Sure.
I'll accept it.
Looks good though. It's brighter.
I mean, it's reasonable.
Yeah.
For a raw, it's workable.
This one, if you had it as tight as this one, I feel like could be in like a identification type of application.
Interesting. So it's just not as tight.
No, that's what I mean. Like this one.
Well, that just gives a little bit of a tip, a hint on what it might be.
What am I? Okay. Who knows?
Is the third one tighter?
A wee bit, you might say.
A wee bit. Now, is the leg sharp? Yes. I would argue, is this even less contrast? It has definitely a slightly different color profile too. Mm-hmm. But I do think the head is sharp at least.
Yep. Head's a little definitely sharper than the last one. Probably not as much as the first one. Mm-hmm.
But the backgrounds are all very similar when it comes to the blur.
Yep, they're not too.
There's just a contrasting color difference. Maybe just like a little bit off on ISO on one or two. Like, just trying to make sure I got all these through before he took off because they're not known to just hang out.
You got to get one of those rigs so you can shoot them all at the same time. Like, point them all at one spot.
People were giving me a hard time. They're like, "So you have 3 cameras in your seat, and you're just using a photo or your phone to take the photo?" Because I did a video of them sitting in my passenger seat and then like lifted up to the bird sitting there.
Yep.
They're like, "So you have 3 cameras and you're resorting to use your phone?" Right on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm like, don't worry, I took some photos.
If I'm picking a favorite, I know that's not this game, but I'm doing it anyway.
Before you say what your favorite is,
okay,
I'm going to give everyone a chance to lock in their votes in the comments.
YouTube.
Okay.
Now, we've asked you all to go to YouTube. So all 18 of our listeners are on YouTube right now. So they should
go 1, 2, or 3.
And we'll go through them again. 1, 2. I'll move this.
Don't look at color. Like, we can look at color actually because that's part of like what the camera's made up of. Don't look at composition. Composition was not really
3.
I just wanted to keep them in the same position in the frame, but don't look at like what. Oh, I like this pose better. It has nothing to do with that. I wasn't considering anything of the sort.
Now, I can check this, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna ask you instead. Did you try to use the same settings, like the same shutter speed and aperture as close as you can, stuff like that, or were you just going for like
wide open on every single one?
Okay.
So whatever the wide open aperture was, and then I did try to kind of match the histogram kind of exposure.
Okay.
Tried to.
That's okay.
So I tried to use the histogram. That's all I've done.
Because, yeah, I would imagine that different cameras, probably like their auto exposure might react to things. Metering will be different slightly. So, like,
for sure,
they might all say like 0 on their exposure thing, but still be brighter or dimmer than,
This is definitely not a formal test. I'd like to give it another go. But
this is infallible. This is perfectly scientific.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. Science has not done any better than this.
Fucking nailed it. Okay, so they've all voted.
All of them.
Yep.
Every single one of them.
Yep.
So
I'm just gonna warn you that a lot of people that I did ask, it was all over. There's no definitive number one.
Because photography is subjective.
Exactly.
Bruh. All right. So if I'm picking my favorite, do I only base it on
just
what we talked about?
Right off from
image
the raw.
quality?
Just image quality from the raw. What looks the cleanest, the best transitions. You know what I mean? Just like what appeals to you just from an image quality standpoint. Don't really worry about exposure. Don't worry about worry about what you think you could work with when it comes to like editing starting point.
My initial thought is, one, I don't hate the darkness of it, but I feel like it's a little dark.
Mm-hmm.
I like I feel like it's the sharpest, so you could crop it in a little bit and it would be, and like brighten it a little bit, and I think this one would be cool.
Yeah.
I do like, and I'm not talking like cropping it to fucking like this.
No,
or like,
just a compositional crop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I would maybe get rid of the barbed wire, and that's pretty much it.
I edited. Yep.
Well, I wouldn't AI remove it. I would just shrink it until the frame ends about here.
Well, I just used my friend AI.
You love that guy. Probably more than me. I find this pose more interesting because it's kind of not halfway, but he's kind of not.
Look at the pose.
I know.
But that's okay. Everyone's probably going to be subjective in that way.
I like the background of this one better, not because it's more or less blown out than the other ones. Like this one's gone. There's no background here. And it has the most background, arguably. But I like the yellow, dark green, white thing going on. So I think I like this image the best.
Just from a starting point.
Yeah.
Do understand that I have tested and I can get to that with any of the other images.
That's fair. Totally fair.
Yeah, so it's all there. All the pixels are there. All the color is there. The data's there. It's there. You can do it.
Yeah, I think I like this one. I said that this morning too.
Okay.
Image number one.
Image number one. Should I tell everyone what it is?
Do you want me to expose the deets and get rid of our ugly faces?
Yep.
All right, so we're gone now. Bye.
Under image number one is...
It's the Panasonic.
Mike Riley. It's a beautiful lens. It's a obvious, definitive winner when viewed on a high resolution monitor. It is clean. It is beautiful. The color's a little different than what I'm used to in Canon. That's something I could work around. Maybe set my own kind of preset or something. But like, it's downright the sharpest of the three. Like it's obvious. It may not be obvious to you guys. You have the ability to view them yourselves, but it is the objectively cleanest, sharpest of the three.
Actually, even looking on the recording here and then my screen, like it's better on my screen than the recording.
Of
so
course,
like, there'll be some
compressioning
and some other stuff going on.
Because it is a really like, it has a nice aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the composition. Don't worry about it being on a post. Don't worry about it being, like, a bird on a stick type photo. That's not. Yeah. I was just looking for something I could use for all three. It's beautiful. The Sigma 500 5.6 is a gorgeous.
It's lens. The Panasonic.
Fucking tool.
That was the dumbest thing I've ever done.
And that is a 27.9 megabyte. So I don't know if Panasonic has a like CRA.
Okay. Yeah,
like a
yeah.
compressed
30
raw. They
megs.
might. I don't know. So this is it seems like it's a full size raw, getting all of the,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
What's an
all of the
R8
stuff you
image?
come
Like
with it.
16? Like a C raw?
Well, I use a C raw as 13 to
13?
15 to
Yeah.
16, 13 to 16. Yep.
Yep.
Depending on what because it goes up if your noise if your ISO is higher.
Yeah. So that's also actually thanks. I was gonna remember to look at that. So we got
Yep.
ISO 400. So this is a full frame image full frame image at 400. 5.6 400. So that's cool.
Yep.
Just to know.
Yep.
It's a sports. It's the sportiest lens.
It is a sport lens. It has all the sportness.
All right. Number 2.
Down with the sportness. Yep. Number 2. Number 2 is the newly acquired 7D with Keith's beautiful 150-600 contemporary.
Okay. Crazy.
So this one, because it doesn't quite have the same stabilization, stuff like that, it's shot at a much wider focal length technically. Well, it's 350. That's about 500, right? With crop. Maybe it's 6.
388
It's
times
1.6. Yeah.
Let's do a quick little calculator.
And then it's a third of the stop more, right? On ISO.
Times 1.6, 620. So you're a little in. But
okay.
That's fine.
Okay. So I'm 120 more, but it's ISO value is about a third of a stop more.
Yep.
But also it's going to have worse performance.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And it's going to, and 6.3 is going to be more like what, F8, F9?
Yep. But interesting, like the background is gone-er.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
compression is your friend, which is interesting. Because even though I'm at the same working distance,
Sorry.
I'm at the same working distance. So you have to consider with a shorter lens that even though you're shooting this at 20 feet, a shorter lens, you need more like 12 or 15 feet.
Mm-hmm. And this is the JPEG. Like this is only 7 megs.
JPEG.
Woo!
Yep. Yeah.
Beefy. Interestingly enough, like I feel like I like the contrast of the leg more in the Canon. So like this is kind of like maybe it's just because it's darker or in the 7D because like that's a good looking leg right now.
Yeah, the background is there's more kind of separation in the tones.
Yeah.
What does Camera Conspiracy call it? Tonal? Tonne?
Tonne.
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 Tonne. This one's got 6.3 tonnes, and the last one had 5.6 tonnes.
Right. Is that what he's talking about? He's talking about the f stop.
Yeah, he's talking about bokeh.
What a fucking elite. Anyway, I love him. He's a funny guy.
He is funny. He actually did a video recently about someone tried to jack one of his cameras from him on a sale, and it's a very funny video, but also like a really like something people should be aware of when they're selling their shit.
Right.
So,
right. Now I know nobody's saying this out here, but I'm gonna make a statement. There's no reason why this is not a usable image.
Is anyone saying that? No, I guess no one's saying that.
No, but it's just because it's a 7D. I think I'm convincing myself again, like, this shit's still capable.
Yeah.
It's a shitty contemporary lens in today's standards.
That lens, though, is not shit.
It performs so well on the DSLR, though.
Yes. It's a great lens on a DSLR.
It's going to perform as well as the DSLR will allow it to perform. I still think a 6D might be cool or a 7D Mark II.
So...
But the 70 is cool to try it out and
so
get my feet wet again.
Yeah, my old coworker, I'm gonna bring me back for this. My old coworker, the guy who let me borrow, if anyone remembers this story, his 51.8 for a long time while I was learning. He had a 6D Mark I that he was his like backup camera, and I asked to borrow it for a few days. And I didn't like it at all. At the time, I had the 7D 2.
Yep.
Yep. And the 6D had like the old, like 5 or 7 or 9.
Yep.
Focus points.
I believe what this has.
Oh, does it? I don't know what systems it now because I had the 72.
I believe. Yeah.
But like, it was clunky and slow in basically everything that it did. And I don't think it was never trying to be faster than that. Like no one really is shooting wildlife with a 6D. It's a portrait. It's a landscape. It's a still subject camera. Yeah. I never really liked it. I didn't gel with it. I don't know. So I think I would take a 7D1 over a 6D personally, but
Yeah.
you're
I
allowed
guess
to feel different.
it's not that I feel different. I've never shot the 6 series
I don't care what you think. I
Actually-
mean everyone else.
in R or D form. But I have shot the 5 series in R and D form.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like maybe something different. And I know the 5 series still hold some value.
I'm gonna take me
To get
us
like
away
a
again.
The 5, if you get a Mark III or Mark IV 5D, like it still costs you some money. And I had a 5D too. I'm not really interested. That had 9 points. I'm not going back to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it still holds its own. I mean, the head is more user error, and that I didn't have.
It's
too
not
many
user,
images
it's the bird moving.
because I wanted to get to the last photo, which we're not going to switch to yet. But obviously, that's the R8 800. I wanted to make sure I could get that one in. I could make sure I could get that one in. Process of elimination, bro. Come on,
yeah, it's true. Math.
They're already caught up.
Interestingly, the other one was 400 seconds, or 1/400. This is 1/640, and this shows motion blur. So
Yeah.
it's bad.
So it was obviously moving. You also got to understand that now the neck's not up. It's not alert. It's now down. It's probably turning, looking around, a little more content with me being there.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going on there.
Sure.
Anyway, very usable image. Nobody's saying it's not. Apparently, I was in my own head. The camera works well. It's fun to shoot, and I could depend on it, and I will take it out as my only camera from time to time. That's
Wow.
what I can get with it.
Big
Big news.
Crop that to like the 5.3. Actually, I was watching a Frono's photo video today, and he was saying that I didn't check this, but Instagram is now letting you put horizontal, as he would say, and vertical photos in a carousel together,
Yes.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
I would still prefer if they, well, I guess they do, but like they should do 3x2 now. I feel like it's not that
Are you
different from
saying,
5.4.
like, for your feed?
Yeah, like
How you view it, like as a whole, or just the photo?
you
like,
should
when
be
click
able to
on it?
post this image without it getting cut off at the sides.
Well, it shouldn't. You could post 3x2 horizontally, can you not?
You,
Just vertically, you can't.
I guess
You'd have to go
vertically you
5x4
can't. Yeah.
or square. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
could post it that way, and actually, I think you can post 16:9 too.
Yeah, I guess you can. It just squishes, like not squishes,
It
but
does.
it's very thin.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, I think compositionally, I like this one. I know we're not talking about that.
We're
Like,
not. We can touch on it, but
I don't need the barbed wire. I like the kind of squattiness. This one just looks like he's standing there. This one looks like he's like chilling. I kind of like that. I would like him to be doing something, but
say
Just
cigarette something.
yeah, just like,
I'm gonna make. I'll
hacking
make
a
that.
dart.
I'll make that out AI.
yeah, dude.
Just a big cig. Out
Yeah,
of that.
that's gonna be the links that we're gonna allow people to download these. They're gonna have like arms on them, being like, pew, pew, pew.
Wait, you guys said these weren't touched and they were raw?
They're just MS Paint files that are look similar. All right, number 3.
Again, sorry if you're not following on YouTube. We've warned you. This is
Yep.
very heavy visual, and I hope that you're there now. All right. Carrying on.
Carrying on, number 3, which, as we already discussed, process of elimination. We got the R8 with the 11, the 800 F11.
Now, taking composition out of it,
Uh-huh.
taking exposure out of it, just a starting point. This one actually had some of the most votes.
It's a good
Is
shot.
it because it's closer?
Yeah. I feel like
Because if you think about it, I could have got 900 with the 7D, but I end up backing off to 600. This one's just 800. That's all I could do.
Yep.
And that's about minimum focus of that lens. That's about 20. It's 19
That's
feet.
true.
That's roughly 20, 21 feet. That's what you're getting with that focal length on a medium-sized bird. So that's, if anyone's looking, that's kind of the size of the frame and the pixels that you'll get.
That's actually
on
a
the bird.
good informational
saying.
segment.
It's not terrible. If you're shooting little songbirds at 20 feet, you're going to might have a problem. But for
Because the
mid-sized
songbird's
birds,
going to be about here.
yeah, if there's a grasshopper sparrow or savanna on that, it's about the size of its leg,
Yeah.
the height of
Going-
its leg. So
On top of the post.
Yeah. Yeah, what? Yeah,
What a
whatever
horrible
that-
impression.
Yep. whatever that was.
The grasshopper or the Savannah sparrow. They like buzz.
They buzz. They're a buzz. They're a buzzy.
I can't do that
They're
one.
slightly buzzy, not quite as buzzy as a clay colored, but they're buzzy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're zoomed in. Feather detail. It's there.
It's got some.
You can even see, again, not the sharpest lens when it comes to what do they call it when it's like technically sharp?
Tack.
Not
Tack
tack,
sharp?
but there's like another
Resolution.
scientific
Resolving.
term. Yeah, like I would argue your lens, the 800. Actually, in this situation, I don't think it does any better. What
I
it
think it'd be
does better
similar.
is, it's when you get closer because you have that better minimum focus distance.
Yeah.
At the same focal length.
Having shot mine 800 f11 and this one back to back at the same shitty subject on my fence, they're not really any sharper than the other. It's just, you're right. You can get closer with the 800.
I think there's no difference.
F9.
I think it's just proximity when it comes to the 200, 800. I don't think there's any image quality difference. I think there's a bit of a rendering difference because the glass is a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah.
No,
you're
there
getting
is.
into the
I
rendering.
shot it for a month. Like, obviously, I didn't
Yeah.
have a long time, but there's definitely a bit more of a pro rendering, but not like this Sigma 500. That's another notch.
Yeah.
Makes sense, but
What's funny is when I had the F11, I would post shots like this to this other group that does more product photography stuff, knives and things, and I'd always be like, you can't crush a background with F11 and then post something like this.
yeah,
You're like, you absolutely can. You just need distance.
right. Distance. And look at those settings. So you got F11, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You're into ISO 1600. It's almost not even, you can't even notice it. 1600 is like 400 on a DSLR or 200.
Yeah, on the
on
7D, this would
camera.
look like a snowstorm.
Yeah. And then you look at the shutter speed because
But
it was really hard. Like, think about it. If I wanted to get that ISO level down to the 640 or 400, I'm shooting at that 160th, 180th of a shutter,
yep.
150th.
But he's got a nice
was
sharp
a
face this
little-
time.
Well, of course, I'm skilled as fuck, bro. But like,
Skilled as fuck.
but
bro. That's the name of this
No, I'm
this
kidding.
episode.
I'm skilled
Skilled
as fuck,
AF, bro.
But like, the point is, like, I wouldn't say that's the threshold. I think I can shoot at 60 to 80, but for showcase value, I had to make sure at least I had something I was comfortable with. So which pushed the ISO levels up 1600. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit of an outlier in the ISO, but it also, you can tell with the shutter speed that that's where I've kind of grabbed from and used that image stabilization, which is absolutely phenomenal for a body that doesn't have in-body, which
Ibis.
longer focal lengths aren't going to really be affected too much by it. You can see how those 5 stops of image stabilization in that lens
Help.
really work.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I was stationary. Yes, I was in a car. But again, I'm pushing up on my seat. I'm up kind of on my legs, and I'm leaned into the passenger seat to get that kind of shot with the background, or else it would have been sky. So I'm you know what I mean? I'm kind of against holding my body still while still shooting 1/80th of a second or whatever it is.
Do you see what time you shot this at? That's impressive. You shot this at 1:15 in the morning.
I think that's wrong.
Are you
Wait,
sure?
which one is that?
The R8.
Oh, well, that's why.
Your date's all
can't-
fuck here. That's pretty good for F11. Not gonna lie,
Hold
only
on.
1600 ISO at 1 in the morning. Shit, dude.
This is a poll right in the comments. Who has their date set correctly on their camera, and can they be sure that it's selected correctly?
I think I am. I think that was about 10:44 a.m.
Yeah,
when I
you
shot
you're
this.
focusing on the wrong things, brother.
You're
Because I'm pro as fuck. I'm skilled as fuck, bro.
well, you shot this one at fucking lunchtime, and then this one was at 7:30 in the morning, and then this one was at 1 in the morning. So what do you mean this is back to back? Liar. I'm just kidding.
They were definitely back to back.
Yeah.
Ignore the date and time, please.
I'm just bugging you.
No, I know. Now you got people thinking now you've started an ABPS conspiracy.
Sick. That's what I wanted to do.
Run rampant in the comments.
I'm bringing us back because we've been gone for too long.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, those are the 3 kits. My takeaway, actually, Kyle, what's your takeaway of what we have?
Our science?
Here? Yep. What's the takeaway? So you got a kit that's $2,500 for the body, $5,000 for the lens. So you got $7,000. Let's go with market value right now. A 7D goes for about $400.
Mm-hmm.
The lens goes for about $900.
Mm-hmm.
So you're at $1,300 there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the R8 and 800, which probably goes for 15 and, well, I guess we go new for that, $1,799 and $1,000. So you got a 3,000, 1,400, and a 7,000. So you got a budget, super budget.
Yep.
High end budget and mid range.
So I have 2 thoughts. One I'll start with, and I'll finish with the second one. I used to sell bicycles. People would come in and be like, "I need the best dual suspension mountain bike that you have."
Idiots, fools.
And I'd be like, "Have you ever mountain biked before?" And they'd be like, "No."
You're like, I'm gonna get all the commission on this.
I didn't make commission, unfortunately.
Oh, okay, all right.
But I would ask them sometimes, be like, or most of the time, I'd be like, "Did you bike before?" They're like, "No, I'm just kind of getting into it." And I'm like, "Okay, you should not buy a $3,500 mountain bike right now. You should buy like $1,000 hardtail mountain bike with that. And if you like what that's doing for you, and for like after a year, then upgrade to the big boy."
What about buy once, cry once?
So I, as somebody who goes through hobbies like it's his fucking job, you don't always have the cash flow to buy once, cry once.
But what if someone does?
What if someone does?
Let's say this guy does have it.
Where I was going with this is...
My apologies.
No, it's fine. I think it's a good idea to learn photography on a DSLR.
100%.
Just kind of in general.
Good save.
Because it just teaches you the fundamentals. It's the same way if you rode a hardtail through a rock garden, you would get your teeth rattled out of your head unless you learned to pick a line through the rocks. So it's kind of the same thing here. If you don't know how to adjust stuff to make a DSLR work for you, you're not going to be able to just grab a mirrorless and go. So I think you should start on a DSLR, but you also can start on a mirrorless, which is fine. But I think, hi buddy. I think bang for the buck is what you're aiming at. And I'm still here. The R8 is a great camera. It offers so much with a couple sacrifices that I've myself learned to live with. And if I can do it, you can do it.
Preach.
I might not recommend the 800 as someone's only lens.
Hater. Sorry, I'll let you go.
Hater. You're like, preach, hater.
I'm sitting back from the mic. Go ahead.
Just because like it's not versatile. And it's not like there are times when you'd want a different lens. But if you had R8 1:4 800, excellent kit, very versatile, can do a lot of things. If you had R10 1:4 800, also excellent, a little cheaper. The Lumix and the 500 will have some advantages, but I think you have to be more proficient at shooting to take advantage of those things, of that resolution, of that f-stop, of that, I don't know what else the Panasonic, maybe the video features. So if you're the kind of person who wants the best thing and wants to kind of build up to being able to deem yourself worthy of that, definitely go for that if you want. But I think, and what I sort of did, and I'm still sort of doing, is sort of trying to play in that middle ground of bang for the buck and where am I most efficiently spending my money. And it's really hard to top the R8 right now, I think.
Yeah. No, you're
yeah.
no, it's yeah, you're bang on.
Great.
If that's kind of your ideology, like people will have other opinions or other reasons why they may want something else. But objectively, this is just objectively speaking, looking at the images, yeah, it's hard to argue that as an intermediate photographer. Because like you said, I think you hit it out of the park where you said DSLR is where most should start.
I occasionally say a smart thing.
Small tangent, like my job, I started on something that was very, very manual. So I understood how this machine ran because I had to make everything do what it does. Now I run this multi-million-dollar automatic machine for my profession. And there's lots of people that have no idea how it works, but they know what the buttons do.
I've done jobs like that.
That's
This makes stop, this makes go.
And you make less money because you're not as important.
Right.
That's
DSLR people are more important.
But my point is, I think you do need to learn how to drive a Roadster before you can drive a Lamborghini. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
you gotta drive something you can feel the road with, and you're making all the differences to how it performs, versus going for something that is fine tuned,
right,
to give you the best results. And I think a lot of people want to get results instantly, but I think other things suffer when you're not quite as in tuned with your camera.
I think that's true.
And that's why I like shooting the 7D right now.
It brings you
me
back to that.
Yeah.
How's that for a fucking same?
That is the only thing that we even wrote down. That was
same.
No, I'm kidding. It wasn't planned.
No.
But yeah, it's a good takeaway. I don't think you can choose a wrong one. Your dollar amount that you want to spend is up to you. This is more of an understanding that like budget stuff, even if it's a DSLR, can still almost keep up. It can easily keep up when it comes to content creation and or social media sharing.
I think image quality, like just and picture versus and picture, fine, holds up. Where you're going to see advantages is like tracking and hit rate and all this stuff that the processing power of the camera. Speed, yeah.
Overall speed. Like you're talking about, what does the 7D do? 12 frames?
10
frames?
I think it's
8
10.
frames? Okay. Yeah,
that
so
one might
10.
be 8 and the 2 might be 10, something like that.
I think
they
you're
might
right.
have bumped it up
I
a couple.
8 seems right. But then you got the non-mechanical shutter, the electronic shutter of the R8 that is 40. That's a world of difference. Do you need 40 all the time? No.
I never need
20.
40.
I think 20 is even a little too. I wish I could go anywhere between 12 and 20 and adjust it. That would be
Actually,
a nice firmware update.
I did bump mine up to 40 when I was shooting the turns because I was trying to do something which I was unsuccessful at. I wanted to get the moment where the beak breaks the water, but I always missed it because I'm an idiot.
You know what's interesting though? 40 works really well on tracking a action subject, whereas 40, I find my hit rate goes down.
You said 40 both times.
Yeah. Right. 40 does worse on opposed.
Oh yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like I'll have like 6 or 7 photos out of 40 or 5 that missed or be slightly off that focus, whereas like almost all of the series of an action will be in focus.
I have a theory about that.
Okay.
So if you're taking 20 frames per second, that spaces between the pictures where the camera is doing its autofocus calculations,
processing,
there's more time.
Yeah.
So it can go, oh, the shit didn't move.
It's still there. It's still there. Yeah.
40. I wonder if there's anything in its brain that goes, this guy's shooting at 40, which means the thing that he's shooting is probably moving. So it may have moved a little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And when it is moving, it's going, yep, I was right.
Yeah. And when it's not, it goes, oh, fuck. And it tries to find it again on the next image.
It's not bad. It's just it's just so superficial where you're just like, oh, that one's just a little off I'm not going to use that one.
Yep.
You always have an image. It's just I find it just misses a few more, and that might you might have hit the nail on the head there.
I'm not this weekend coming up, but the following weekend I'm going to do car stuff. I'm going to the racetrack to shoot some vehiculars.
Okay, I was like, what is car stuff?
What is car stuff? I got to replace my control arms again. No, we're going to Moss Sport to shoot race cars, so that'll be fun. The first year I went, had a blast, got some good shit. Second
Great
year,
stuff, yeah.
had a blast, got a whole pile of ass. So this year I'm going to try to do a little bit better.
In the middle somewhere?
I want to outdo the first time, but I don't
so
know
you
if
wanna
I
do-
can.
You want to have your best. But you didn't have the R8 last year, did you?
I did. The R8 was on the 800, and I had the
you didn't have
R7
the
on the
200.
1 to 4.
I think the 2.8s could be decent.
The 2.8 will be better, just because I can pull back when I want. Ted agrees. Ted says, you're right. That's what's going to happen.
You're still going to have like slightly crowded backgrounds if you're not doing a panning thing, but I don't think that's as offensive as long as your car isn't being lost in advertisement or in a weird like stand in the back. You know what I mean? You have it placed properly.
I think I need to do better
you're okay.
at choosing what the background will be when composition. I guess that's the better word.
And you
for
can
it.
do that if you're standing on a turn. Like you can just kind of have it compositionally zoomed to where you want it, and then wait for that car.
Yep.
Pre-focus, stuff like that.
And with the car auto tracking, it's like probably better than birds. It's just like, there it is. Goosh.
People
it just sticks
people
to
is
it.
better than birds, and birds is outstanding. So like,
Right.
I'm sure cars.
And with cars, you can choose if you want it to focus on the headlight or the windshield.
Oh,
There's
does
like
it ask you?
Yeah, it's called spot detection.
Yeah, I
you
use it
turn-
for birds
If you turn it
because
off,
it'll ask you. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
well, the bird one, it asks you which eye
Left or right eye,
or
exactly.
auto. Yeah.
Yeah.
In cars, it's spot detection, and I would think it's doing is deciding whether or not to focus on the headlight or the bulk of the car. So that's kind of cool. So that's my next shooting thing that's planned anyway.
With the aperture of that lens, I don't think it matters if it's headlight or bulk. I'd probably just go bulk.
Yeah, because I had some last year,
depth of field.
even with the F11, that the part of the car that I wanted in focus wasn't in focus, and the front quarter panel kind of was, and I was like, I want more of this front windshield door kind of area. If the back's not, that's fine.
That's probably compression. Actually,
It could be a few things. It could have been motion blur too.
Being an issue for you too, though, because you got so much compression in that lens, and I'm assuming the cars just can get close.
There's a few spots you can get decently close, but they're pretty far from the non. We're not getting credentialed to go there. It's just we're as fans, so we don't get that close.
You're not getting the VIP $500 VIP pit.
Well, Will knows people, so he can get backstage. Like if you go to Will S. Rob's, I think on Instagram, most of those are pictures from Moss Sport, and he can get in behind and get into the pit area and get closer to the track on other races. He goes there a lot.
Right.
This is a specific IMSA one that we always go to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Mike was asking if I could go to this one. I couldn't go to it.
Okay.
But we were thinking about going to it.
If he's there, I'll find him.
I have his camera, so
That's fair. He'll be the guy
bring him an
not
extra
taking
one.
pictures.
He hurt his knees and his back, so that's actually why I have it.
That sucks.
Or else he was planning on going, so he's like, I'm not going to use it for a little bit, and I want to see what you can get with it. And now he's looking at changing and adapting it to Sony. So it hasn't been a good stretch for the poor guy.
You said he was mad at you earlier. Why? Just because you've been getting good shots with it, or what?
No, I was kind of overplaying the mad.
No, he was pissed.
It doesn't take much for Mike to be convinced that maybe another option is better. Mm-hmm. And I don't think
I've never been
helping,
like that.
And I don't think I've been helping that case.
He's going back
because
to
it's kind of
DSLR now.
confirming, he thinks that the body is not quite as bad focusing as I've experienced, but he may be a little more used to it, and I'm just used to the R8.
Yeah, you're
And
spoiled.
unfortunately, it's that comparison is kind of stealing that joy from it. But again, there's so much more that this lens can do that this body just can't get out of it. It's just not fast enough.
Yeah.
I've seen videos of the A1, the A9 III, the A9 A1 II, and it performs great. And I'm not saying it doesn't perform. The photos are really nice. I'm just not going to go out there and get action with it. And I think that that's a body issue, not a lens.
I'm gonna start
But I've
calling it
seen
the A12.
the A1 too.
Yeah, the A12.
Yeah, the A12. But yeah, so anyway, I think that's maybe why he's, I wouldn't say frustrated or mad or anything like that. It's just, I've got the gears a turning.
You're good at that, unfortunately. In a good and bad way.
Just sharing my opinion. If it gets you thinking, I think that's kind of
That's sort of the point.
The fun part about it. Yeah.
And we're not necessarily. I don't think
there's a lot of things that you've got my gears turning too on. So I mean, it goes back and forth.
I think there's a misconception in the world when you're telling someone your opinion. You're trying to change their mind.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And I think people think change their mind. They think make you think and agree with your point. But most of the time, I'm going, have you considered this? If you still come to the same conclusion, that's fine. But have you considered this? Or are you too pigeonholed or too like tunnel visioned on your opinion and you haven't considered this? I'm just saying, what about this? If you still come to your same conclusion, fine. No sweat.
Sure.
I just want you to be
something
like
that someone might be overlooking something.
Right.
Yep.
Because like, here's sort of a good example. You've been shooting that 150-6 on the R8, and historically people have been talking about how the autofocus is bad. And so sometimes people will conclude that to mean like you can't get good shots from it. But if for whatever reason you only had R8 150-600, you can't get anything else. There are ways of shooting it where you can get good results. You will be able to pull good images from that. And I think it's important that people know that, and it's not all doom and gloom about the autofocus trickery, you know?
Yep. Because, skill will take you further. If you
That's
just
why
use something and become more skillful. If you become more skillful with it, like that's going to get you further with something then. Because I'd argue that a lot of people out there don't tax out their gear and don't get the most all of it out of it. Even it's really hard to get like maximum performance out of it just on skill. Like it's really hard to be consistently good.
Yeah.
And if you focus on that more and less about what something can do, like that Lumix is a very capable body and camera kit if you stay in what it's good at, that limitation that we talk about. Don't try to get outside of that, because that's where finding something that's better and spending more money comes into it. Maybe that's your thing. But it doesn't mean that what you have isn't capable. It's just, you just have to understand what it isn't. Like the F800 F11 is a great lens for what it's not. It's not a 5.6.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a Pro Prime. It's not an expensive camera. It has cheap glass in it. It has a cheap build. It's not waterproof. It's very good for what it's not. I believe Vince actually said it when I bought it. He goes, "Yeah, I've used it. I have one. I could have sold it to you for really cheap. Actually, I don't use it." And he's like, "It's a really good lens for what it's not," and that's a really good way of putting it.
I saw this the other day. I was just perusing Facebook Marketplace as I do, and I saw a picture that looked very familiar. So I clicked on it, and it was my 800 F11. The person who bought it from me is now reselling it using my pictures of it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't care.
No harm, no foul, I guess. But
yeah, she bought it. She bought it and said she was taking it on a trip to like Iceland or Ireland or somewhere in Europe. And she had like
a really overcast, gloomy. That's great for F11.
And she had an R10, and I was like, okay. I would like
no more
to buy.
Than no more than ISO 2500 on that thing.
But I was like, I want to buy the 2-8, so I'm selling this to you, even though I think you don't understand what it is. So I'm wondering if she took it to Ireland and just was like, this isn't actually what I wanted, and now is selling it again. Or she only intended to bring it for that trip and sell it after. I don't really care.
Maybe.
But
it is funny. It is interesting.
I was like, that picture looks
the
familiar.
same photos. That's funny.
They're all like a nice 50, 1.8 with like destroyed backgrounds in my
Well,
yard.
that's why. Because they're like professional looking. Why not?
Yeah, they're
Like,
pretty dope pictures.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I don't.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say someone like stole your photo, like for use, but they did. But it was more of just like a product photo.
The least offensive way someone could have done that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of this, and it is the least offensive way for what I do agree.
I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully it works for you like the way they work for me.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think in that situation that I would say like, hey, maybe this isn't the lens for you, because I'm betting on this sale. So
I did send a comment. I said, "Nice shots, wink." She didn't message me back.
Nothing.
No.
She contacted her lawyer instantly. Oh, I might
It's
be
like,
in trouble.
fuck, this guy's stalking me. What was funny is like I'm fairly talkative. I don't know if you've gathered that at this point.
No, that's been the biggest actual like
Hurdle.
critique of it.
Yeah, we don't
No, it's
talk
the biggest
enough.
critique from people that Kyle doesn't talk enough.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that to heart, and I'll try better.
And he stays on topic too much.
Yeah, my teachers always said that. It was weird.
Oh, squirrel.
Yeah. I'm the dog from fucking Up.
That's a good podcast title.
I'm the dog from Up.
Too. The dog from Up. Anyway,
It's a great movie. Not. One of the best.
Maybe not. Maybe it was the moment. I think it was just the moment.
It was the moment.
Continue.
It's a good moment.
Right.
I don't even remember where I was going with that. You've derailed me so hard.
I threw you off.
What I was going to say was I'm talkative. So when she was buying the lens for me, I was trying to like, oh yeah, like what are you shooting? Like check out this picture I took with it. Like I have an R8. And she's like, yeah. And just like trying to make sure it worked. Just like attached it, shot. We were just in a Tim Hortons and she shot like, looked at the donuts. I was like, yep, took a picture of donuts. Bye. I was like, all right. See ya.
There's like a flicker across the screen from like the fake lights.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just like, sure.
And then like this in stark contrast. So I bought a pair of in-ear monitors on Marketplace a few weeks ago. And then I bought these pair of headphones recently. And I've been texting the guy who I bought the other headphones from for like since then, because he's into audio as much as at least I am. So the other day he messaged me, he's like, yo, what do you think of the new Sennheisers? So I sent him this huge bunch of words again. And we talked about sound for a while. That's what I want of a Facebook Marketplace interaction. I want a new friend. I want someone has the same hobby as me, who's buying and selling so much shit that we're just like, yeah, like this thing we're addicted to. Let's nerd for a bit.
Instead of just putting it on Marketplace, like ask me first.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. You guys just like sell to each other.
Yeah. No, literally I was like, I want to try this other pair of headphones. He's like, I'm selling one. And I was like, fuck.
He's not. He sounds like a very bad friend financially.
Or a very good friend. I'm not sure.
No, financially terrible.
Oh, financially really bad. But I bought these instead of
as we speak.
the ones from him. So
right.
Darn it.
You'll get me there eventually. So you're a bad influence. I'm using like my Turtle Beach freaking gaming headset.
Yeah, they work. They play sounds.
Yep. It doesn't change anything for anybody else.
Nope. Just you.
That's right. But I'll get there. I'm gonna end up having something nice and
actually what's funny.
Podcast studio and those foam things in the back so my sound's better. There. We ain't never gonna stop.
I like knives. We know this.
That's the episode title.
I like knives. It's been a joke at work that in most workplaces that my work people around me will start buying knives because I exist. And another guy at work, Kyle, I was like, yo, I'll have you buying a knife at some point. He's like, I don't think so. Like, I don't ever need a knife. But he went ATVing with his family and his family has a bunch of ATVs. And now he's like, I'm buying an ATV. So he went full send and like bought like a brand new fucking ATV. And he's like, Kyle, I might need a knife to keep on the quad. And I was like, haha.
I'm your guy.
So then he asked Craig also. So he asked me because Craig's just as nerdy into that shit as me. So he asked Craig first and he asked me second. And then we suggested the same thing. So we suggested a Leatherman multi-tool instead of like a knife. and we suggested the same one. And then today, as icing, I brought mine and just like put it in his hand when I got there. I was like, here, check this out. I just gave it to him and walked away. And like later, he's like, damn it, Kyle. I'm going to buy one of these.
Is it expensive?
It's like $160.
It's, you know.
But it has like, you know, like this is a different one. This is how addicted. I have them like near me. So this is a different Leatherman multi. This probably won't focus on it.
What are you using? A Lumix?
Right. Come on. Where are you?
I feel like they're purple.
No, it's just the lighting.
Oh,
there we go.
That was the lighting.
So this is the
monitor.
Leatherman style. They don't even make this one anymore. It's kind of a small one. It's just a knife and pliers. But I gave it to him. I was like, here, take that. And yeah, he played with it for a while. And I have this one up here. I have the Wave, which is the one I wanted him to buy in there. And I have another one somewhere else. I just have them scattered around because like whenever I'm moving or whenever I'm outside doing something, I always have it on me because it's like I need a screwdriver. I need a knife. I need a little pokey thing for a second.
Yep.
They just always have something on them I can use for the thing I'm doing. So
that's fair. You're a tinkerer.
Yeah. And I thought for him on an ATV out in a trail, he might need a number of things. So like have that nice and compact. So I'm not impractical.
I sent you a photo and I had a little
Your little squirt or squid.
Yeah.
I knew
was it by Cricket?
CRKT. People will call it Cricket. I think it's stupid. Because it stands for
the name. I actually think the name of. I thought the name of the knife was a Cricket.
It's the Columbia River Knife and Tool Squid.
That's a mouthful.
That's why it's spelled CRKT Squid.
Shout out
CRKT. Actually, Crank has one of those. He loves that knife too.
It's perfect. It's got a nice weight to it, and it's a nice small size.
It's a little chode. It's a little chody.
You know I like chodes. I got it from my cousin Colin for being in his wedding. Nice little wedding gift along with other things. But yeah, it was great.
I gave my groomsman a knife too.
I'm not like you, but yeah.
I gave him a knife and I gave him a bottle opener in the style of a butterfly knife.
Nice.
Yeah, it was sick.
A butterfly knife would be cool.
Illegal, unfortunately.
Oh no, I know that. I understand that. Like,
straight up felony, not even frowned upon.
I used to play like 5M, which is Grand Theft Auto 5, like role play sort of kind of servers.
Okay.
On PlayStation on PC, and you could have this animation where you had a butterfly knife and you were like walking around and doing all the fun things. Yeah. Or
I would like you can buy like ones that are combs and shit that are fun. Yeah.
I don't even have enough hair for that.
No, me neither.
Oh, look at that.
I could beard comb, I guess. Loosen your hat, man.
Actually, it is fairly loose. It's the added
weight
headphones. The headphones. Cool. Oh, there's no weight to these headphones. They're light as fuck. Anyway.
These ones aren't too bad. They're lighter than these ones.
Headphone guy.
These are my standard pair. They're still here.
We're still heavily video right now. Apologize for the audio listeners.
This is the show and tell portion of the episode.
We would love for everyone to just get on to the video.
Get on there. While you're there, like, comment, subscribe, say hi, fucking rate, fucking I don't know.
I feel like someone did leave a comment or something. I was gonna shout out. I can't remember now.
Oh yeah, I didn't see one.
We don't have enough, so checking. Like, there's just one. Yeah, we're bad for checking. I do feel like there's something like an email or something that we got. So if you did send something, I did see something, and then I forgot all about it, and I'm gonna rehash up for the next episode. And if there was something, we'll bring it up.
We'll get to it.
Because even Gary was like, how do you guys edit in Lightroom? I'm like, maybe we'll touch on that. But the problem with that is I think it'd be really hard to do a live. It might be.
I'll do a quick demo right now. Watch this. I go like this. I go, where are we? Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Let's go to a bad picture. You click on this, and then you go. Oh, my internet's going to be shit. Basically, I click on a preset and then post it to Instagram.
It's helpful. It's very helpful.
That's why it's going to be a shit demo. But even my shit demo was shittier than I thought. So fuck that. We're done.
Yeah, the shit demo wasn't as shit as the internet right now.
Yeah. I don't know why that was taking forever.
All right. Well, we've been talking about adding some content to the YouTube to get the YouTube to grow a little bit. Maybe bring some people in. That might be a type of video where we might do a quick little rundown on a photo or two together and post that so we can edit it and make sure it's informative and not all over the place like our standard live to us episodes where nothing is curated and we go with the flow.
Yeah, there should be at least some direction if we're at least trying to show people what to do.
We're just going to fucking confuse everybody the way we go about things.
That is how I edit, though. Like, I'm like, I don't know, this one.
Nope. Yeah, I'm way more structured than that.
Good. You should do the video then.
You can't tell in the final image, but I'm much more structured.
Good. Awesome.
All right. So
cool.
You're out. The few that have contacted us, we have got back to a few of you. I do think we forgot one. Gary, we haven't forgot about you. We'll try to get something together.
And he's keeping the 150 to 600. Is that the same Gary?
No, Gary, about the 7D from. I gave him
Gary's
$100. I gave him $100, so I don't give a fuck if he wants it back. It's one.
That's true.
It's
That's called a sale.
It's 180 for you.
For me?
No, for Gary if he wants it back. He's gonna see these
70.
beautiful photos and he'll be like, "I want that back." Maybe.
Shoot.
I think what he said to me when he gave it to me, he goes, "I just that battery fits my R7." I go, "Yep, no takebacks."
Yep. See you
I
later.
think you realize like it was that second battery for him.
Oh, did you get a good one?
Battery.
Because there's the LP6, LPE6, and the LPE6N, and the N's got a little bit more storage in it.
Oh, I don't know. It's just it works in the R7.
I know, but like if you took one of his N ones, because the N ones are better for the R7, it'd be funny.
So what you're saying is the N and the non-N both work in your camera. Just okay. That's all right.
Oh, it's even a blue one. It's a legit Canon one.
Oh yeah. No, just E6.
Okay, you got the right one.
But it's still gonna last 2 weeks because it's a fucking DSLR.
Yeah, it's they're just like, even on is just off. It's just ready for the button to be pushed.
It powers off. Yeah, the screen's on right now. I do like a screen.
On the top?
Yep. It's not useful. It's not useful for mirrorless. I think it's a little more useful for DSLR.
Because you don't have to be
I can look down. Yeah. But even if I'm looking down, so say the clouds are going in and out, the sun's going out behind the clouds, and I'm like, oh, now it's out of the sun. I know I can either, say I know my ISO is low, I can go, I'm going to increase my shutter speed to compensate for the little bit of weather change, and I can see where I am. So if I'm at 500, okay, I'll go to 800 or 640 or something. So like it is useful.
Yep.
Anyway, little tidbit.
Cool beans.
All right. Well, we apologize for any audio listeners that had a 40-minute segment in there. They didn't know what was going on. We warned you.
We warned you, told you where to go, and if you didn't go there, we'll tell you where to go now.
Yeah. I would assume next time we're going to be back to standard audio you could follow fairly well. I do want to get Richard back on, so we're going to do that soon too.
Absolutely.
Other than that, we have no plans other than just our two ugly mugs.
Mug and Uglies.
Mug and Uglies.
Right on. I think technically it's your turn this time.
It is. Oh, are you ready?
I don't know. We could be ready. I don't have anything more to say.
Is anybody listening still?
I don't know. Right. If you've made it this far in the video, comment screwdriver in the comments. Timestamp screwdriver.
Yeah, I want to see you at hour this and screwdriver.
Yeah.
All right. Screwdriver is the secret word, and start the music now.
I wonder how many screwdrivers are in
wings, all up in the lens. Calumet snapping, capturing all the trends. Peeping through the scope, freeze frame the fly.
All right, buddy.
Bird pod show, aiming for the sky. Oh, they click in the snap, see the birds on the map. Angry bird pod flow, flipping through the recap. Calumet, dropping wings on blast. Tune in next week, this one never in the past. Eagles, hawks, and kestrels flying so divine. Peep the live broadcast, podcast goldmine. Twisting in the air, birds of every kind. Critics gonna chirp, but they ain't ever dying. Zooming in on sparrows, robins in the mist. Matt's got the shutter, Kyle's got the twist. Feathered friends in flight, equipped with the strut. Angry Angry Bird Pod Show, capturing the cut. Oh, they click and they snap, see the birds on the map. Angry Bird Pod Show, flipping through the recap. Kyle and Matt, dropping wings on blast. Tune in next week, this but never in the past. Dawn of twilight, watch the colors flash. Birds of every shade in a photogenic dash. No need for fame, just the birds flying free. Angry Bird Pod Show, bringing all the glee. And they snap, see the birds on the map. Angry Bird Pod Show, flipping through the recap. Kyle and Matt, dropping wings on blast. Tune in next week, this but never in the past. Eagles, hawks, and kestrels flying so divine. Keep the live broadcast, podcast opine. Twisting in the air, birds are back. So by Bird and Matt, dropping wings on blast. Tuning in next week, this but never in the past. In the past. Tuning in next week, this but never in the past. In the past. Zooming in on sparrows, robins in the mist. Matt's got the shutter, Kyle's got the twist. Feathered friends in flight, equipped with the strut. Angry Bird Pod Show, capturing the cut. From dawn to twilight, watch the colors flash. Birds of every shade in a photogenic dash. No need for fame, just the birds flying free. Angry Bird Pod Show, bringing all the glee. Oh, they click and they snap, see the birds on the map. Angry Bird Pod Show, flipping through the recap. Kyle and Matt, dropping wings on blast. Tune in next week, this but never in the past. From the past. Not shortcut. Not shortcut. Angry Bird Pod Show, bringing all the glee. Bringing all the glee.